Okay, previous video we discussed about we stopped at this point, and today we're going to talk from that point onwards. So, um, the key takeaways in here: availability zone bound services need manual high availability. The EC2, EBS, RDS applied in a single availability zone. So this one is a compute. If you put in a availability zone, it won't replicate automatically. It's the same as EBS as RDS, right? And now a regional auto high availability S3, so automatically highly available. DynamoDB and Lambda and EFS, Elastic File System, and the global services IAM, CloudFront, and Route 53. So they are automatically global services. So this is very important. The best practice always designed for multi-availability zone and multi-region where possible for fault tolerance, right? So if you need a fault tolerance, always design for multi-availability zone and multi-region, but you just need to consider a lot of things when you're asking a question. Like they might ask if cost effective or something like that. So even when you put in multi-availability zone, multi-region, that you will get a cost associated with that. Even if you apply into a multi-availability zone, two availability zone, the traffic in between these two, you have to pay for the traffic, right? So similar to regional. So let's have a look. This is complete breakdown of AWS services by region, availability zone, deployment, right? Keys. So this one is a global and a regional and availability zone is specific, right? So let's go for a summary sort of what we discussed, right? So the computer service, right? EC2 service is EC2. Deployment model is per availability zone, right? Keynotes. Instance run in a single availability zone. Use auto scaling for multi availability zone, right? So you have to use auto scaling facility for availability, deploying into multi availability zone, right? Lambda is a regional service run across availability zone automatically. No control over availability zone replacement. So in Lambda, we don't have a control over how we put in Lambda into different availability zones, but it's automatically available. EKS, Elastic Container Service. So it's a regional clusters span availability zones. Tasks can be distributed, right? EKS Kubernetes Services, regional worker nodes run in availability zones. Control panel is regional. Fargate is a regional serverless containers abstract availability zone. AWS managed placement, right? You can't put them into a availability zone, so AWS managed placement. Elastic Beanstalk for the developers mainly. Regional support multi-availability zone deployment for high availability. So you can apply multi-availability zone deployment for high availability. Batch regional. Job runs in availability zones but are managed regionally. So it's a regional service, right? And now if we go to storage service is less deployment model and keynote. So S3 buckets, uh, multi-availability zone, data replicated across more than 3 availability zones in a region, right? EBS, elastic block storage. So per availability zone, volumes are availability zone bound snapshots are regional, right? You can create a snapshot and restore it to a different availability zone. EFS, Elastic File System, Multi-Availability Zone, File System Span Availability Zones, Accessible Resource Availability Zones in a region, right? Okay. So FSX, file system, network file system for Windows, multi-availability zone, support multi-availability zone for Windows. On tap, cluster is single availability zone. We're going to discuss these things separately. All right. Glacier S3 archive multi-availability zone like S3 stored redundantly across availability zones. Storage gateway regional cache stored volumes replicated to S3 multi-availability zone. So storage gateway is cache stored volume replicated to S3 bucket, right? Uh, Database services, right? Service deployment model keynotes. So RDS, relational database service, multi-availability zone optional. So how you going to apply primary plus standby in another availability zone for auto failover, right? DynamoDB, multi-availability zone, default, more than 3 availability zones, global tables for multi-region. Global tables will be replicated in multi-region. Aurora DB, multi-availability zone, 6 copies across 3 availability zones, global database for cross-region. Redshift, data warehouse, multi-availability zone, RA3 node, separate compute, storage, multi-availability zone, resilient, right? Elasticache, multi-AZ, optional, support read replicas across availability zone. Document DB, multi-availability zone, right? Replicate across 3 availability zone like Aurora. So these all multi-availability zone means a regional services, right? Okay. So network and content delivery, the VPC, the regional subnet availability zone is specific net gateway is per availability zone, right? CloudFront is global, Route 53 global service, API gateway regional deployed in a region can integrate with edge location. Direct connect regional, physical connection is a region, redundant ports for high availability. Global accelerator is a global service, use AWS backbone to route traffic to nearest availability zone, right? IAM global, KMS regional, and region specific must replicate manually. Secret manager regional, replicate secrets across availability zone in the region, right? Mm, so, okay, so Cognito, regional user pools are region scope, right? Guard duty, the regional service, analyze logs per region, can enable multi-region, uh, web application firewall and shield. It's a global service, protects applications globally. Cloud, cloud front and ALB, right? Um, right. I think we'll discuss until to this one, and we'll have a chat uh, next video. Until then, thank you very much.